So we're going to be watching Let's Talk Elections presidential election prediction from a couple weeks back, and we're going to kind of be critiquing his takes on this election.
Pretty settled. 52-48. Republicans decisively
He had
win
Ohio,
back
Tennessee
Senate
till
control.
red. Oh, man.
So, sigh, catch your breath. We're back to a blank map. 538 electoral votes that are going to be the most important part of this election. Throw out the governor elections, throw out the House elections, throw out the Senate elections. Obviously, massive implications on that front. But what the focus is for the next segment of this video, the presidential election. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz have done a really good job at this campaign. I want to start off by saying that I do
think. Oh, man. This guy already, oh, man, guys. It's incredible. It really is. It's it's incredible. It's so sad, guys. Like, literally, this guy worked for the Biden-Harris campaign, essentially. He worked for them. He did modeling for them. He was one of the people behind the Kamala HQ page on TikTok and on X. Like, it's honestly really sad that this guy was in charge of a lot of the things that they were running on both campaigns. It's pretty hilarious. And he got to show a little bit more of his fruity side when Kamala ended up becoming the nominee. So we're going to go ahead and keep playing now. Let's go ahead.
in terms of who has run a better campaign. Although the results may show something different on election day, Kamala Harris, given that she has had less than 110 days to turn nothing into something, and Tim Walz, who joined the ticket in August, the Democratic ticket has rebounded from a point where they were destined for the worst Democratic defeat of the 21st century to potentially a really strong showing of the 21st century.
Yeah, but this is the reason why he can say that is because his people at the DNC let him started showing that Biden was going to lose after the debate because they gave the green light to everybody to start trashing Biden after the debate. That's how you know that this is all coordinated together.
Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, on the other hand, I think for a while ran a really good campaign leading up until the RNC. I think arguably leading up until Kamala Harris entered into the race. I think at that point in time, we were seeing Donald Trump actually start to shift his messaging, but also just perform better amongst the American electorate. Now, a lot of that can be attributed to the fact that President Joe Biden was not polling well amongst the public. It wasn't just Donald Trump doing well, it was Joe Biden not doing well. But it has to be said that over the past 3 months, I have been less than impressed by the campaign that Donald Trump has ran, and it's for a variety of different reasons, which I'll tell you right
now. Oh, he was less than impressed. Wow. I wonder what he's got to say.
One, in terms of message control, Donald Trump, although he started his career, and a political career rather, with all of these outlandish claims and all of these more extreme takes that a lot of Americans actually did very much agree with and do very much agree with.
Wow.
Don't get lost on that. Donald Trump is not his own candidate. He is propelled and propped up by around half the country. That matters in an election where you need to win more than half the country.
The only thing he said,
all about winning on those margins. Donald Trump started off by being this candidate that right before an election got in line. In 2016, you can watch it in the rallies. The rhetoric is entirely different than just weeks prior. Why? Because his campaign consultants and his managers and the people who surrounded himself by said, you need to focus on yourself and draw a juxtaposition between you and Hillary Clinton in a way that isn't she's smart and you look ignorant. It needs to be that Donald Trump speaks from a point of challenging the status quo. And in 2016, he did that right. The momentum was on his side. The James Comey letter had just dropped. Everything was moving in favor of the former president. And although he did, in quote unquote, barely win the election, he still won the election. In 2020.
Okay, well, the momentum was on his side this time too. So I don't understand. What's his thing here? What's his catch?
Things got a bit different. Donald Trump tried a new style of campaign. He campaigned on COVID. He campaigned on misinformation surrounding the COVID-19 pandemic. He very much was building up his candidacy off of even more of a personality than 2016. It didn't work. In 2024, I think what we have seen from Donald Trump is that he's not playing by the book that won in 2016. And he's not even playing by the book that got him close to winning in 20.
What? He played the book harder this time than last time, bro. This guy, man. Oh, man. This guy's hilarious. Like, his VP pick was completely different. Not establishment at all. The way they were attacking him in the media for like a month straight, that's how you knew it was a good pick. Oh man, this guy. Oh man, this guy. This is so funny, man. This guy completely just went off the walls, dude. Hilarious.
2020. The picks like JD Vance and making decisions about how you're holding your rallies, who you're inviting to your rallies, not condemning hate speech at your rallies, does damage to his candidacy. Because there are also a new wave of young voters that grew up in the day and age where they were in middle and high school. I'm one of those people where I was in middle school when Donald Trump was elected president. I am now voting for the first time in my first presidential election.
Me
I
too.
voted in the midterms, but this is my first presidential election. And I think for a while, a lot of people understood that in 16, what was brought up then didn't seem to matter as much to the electorate. A lot of these things matter now. And when Donald Trump makes the more outlandish claims and puts himself back in the spotlight in a very negative way, although he has this idea that all press is good press, at some point you get to a point of no return. For a lot of voters, that was January 6th, where there was nothing Donald Trump could ever do.
Oh my god, bro. This guy actually thinks that. Oh man, this guy really thought that was an important issue. Oh, this is hilarious, man.
To win their vote over. Granted, 95% of them were already going to vote for the Democrats in the future elections regardless. But it's about that 5%. And should Donald Trump lose the election by 2,000 votes in a swing state, 5,000 votes across 3 swing states,
Oh man.
there are going to be a lot of questions about, well, should that Madison
Oh.
Square Garden rally have actually happened? Should we have listened to the former president and allowing him to maintain a presence on Twitter and Truth Social? These will be questions that will be unpacked and unearthed.
Oh yeah.
I think Kamala Harris, too, given that she was given a campaign that was seemingly going to lose, easily going to lose, and turning it into something where you are now going to either be the favorite or close to being the favorite makes a huge difference. Makes a huge difference and really shows that Kamala Harris has done something that many Democrats could not have. And that was come very close to winning an election and potentially even win a presidential election. And so, as we go through the map here and as we get through this electoral college victory for either side of the aisle, I just want that point to be made because I do think it makes a difference as to how candidates run their races, as to how candidates win and lose elections, because it makes a difference in future ones, just as it is making a difference in this cycle. But to not waste any time, let's start by characterizing all of the safe Republican states and then move into the safe Democratic states. Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, North and South Dakota.
What? Hold on. No. Stop. He already skipped Montana? Oh god. Oh man, this is oh man, I can't wait to watch the rest of this.
If for the Republican Party. Nebraska at large, Nebraska's third district, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama,
What?
Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, Indiana, Missouri. We'll see here. Definitely going to be interesting, or not Missouri, Indiana, Missouri. I'm going to go ahead and hold on this front.
Are you serious? There's no way. You kidding me? He had Indiana. He actually had to sit there and generally think, oh, is Indiana gonna be safer? Oh man. He actually gave it like he actually put his brain cells to work to decide whether or not Indiana was gonna be safe red or not. Oh man, this is hilarious. Oh, I can't wait.
Republicans are at roughly 81 electoral votes that we consider to be safe at
Like,
this
just
exact
the
moment. Now, you
guys,
might be shocked to
this
see
guy
that.
never uses Atlas Intel Rasmussen reports. He never even pulled up any of the RCP aggregate, like nothing of that. Like, nothing. He didn't pull up any of the polling websites. He didn't do any of that. He's just straight, like, he's just straight doing this map off of pure feelings.
But I want us to also remember, and I should have mentioned this earlier on, I am now thinking from the point and lens of all this new Midwestern data that shows that there has been some minimal bleeding from the Trump side. Keep in mind, I do my ratings based on margins. They are not based on percent
This is
chance of
hilarious.
victory.
Like, bro, like this guy didn't check real core politics or something. He just didn't look at real core politics or is ignoring it. But this minimal one. Oh my god, this is hilarious.
They are based
so funny,
on
dude.
margins.
This
So,
is so funny.
if Kamala Harris wins a state like New York by 14.9, it's a likely state, no matter how much Democrats knew they were going to win by, or how much we know Democrats are going to win by, for the chance of victory. That's why we don't have Indiana, or Missouri, or Kansas, or Montana as safe Democratic states.
I could have bet on those states being plus 15. Like, seriously?
states were
Oh
all on the
man.
verge of being likely red in 2020. And I think because we have seen some movement in Midwestern areas, movement because of abortion bans, I do think,
Oh my
especially
god,
too, that
yeah,
Kamala Harris has grown that support amongst white college.
2022. Oh, the election's gonna be just like the midterms. Really? Really? Oh man, this
Educated
guy.
voters, it will be
What a
enough to
guy, man.
nudge some of these states into being likely red
Again,
states.
guys,
So
if
fear
you
not.
would have seen in the accurate data that abortion was like the number one issue, I would be saying something different. I would be saying, look, guys, I don't agree with how people are voting on the abortion issue, but it is the number one issue. And if the Democrats winning on the number one issue of being abortion by like, and it's like 30%, 40%, the top issue, clearly the Democrats going to do well. Like, that's not out of the question either. But to act like an issue that was like 10% or less of the number one issue of the electorate is going to sway the election like that is freaking laughable. It's hilarious. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
If you're a Republican looking at the 81 number, freaking out, like, where do you go from here? No, right? Where do we go from here? There are a lot of states to go from here if you're looking for a pathway to 270. So keep that in mind.
Oh, man.
Republicans, though, 81 safe states, 81 safe electoral votes. Let's move over to the Democratic side. Now, they have a good amount of safe states, too. They have Washington, Oregon, California, which pretty much completely gets rid of that Republican lead or advantage. Hawaii there, Illinois there, Maryland, shout out Maryland again, Delaware, New Jersey, New York.
In New Jersey, he didn't even say anything. He didn't even give it a thought. He didn't even. He just went deep blue, deep blue. Oh man, this is so funny, guys. Guys, I want you to like think about this. Like, oh, this is great. Hold on. I gotta fix this. This is great. This is absolutely hilarious. He didn't even give it a second thought. New York, oh yes, it's safe Democrat, no question. Illinois, oh, safe Democrat. Oh my, that means he's by a bare minimum is off in New Jersey by like a minimum of like 10 points. This is hilarious. This is so funny.
Massachusetts, and this is where Vermont comes in, District of Columbia, Maine's 1st District.
Man.
These are all safe for the Democratic Party. So where does it put them? Well, roughly 100 electoral votes more than Republicans. But to not also harp too much on the likely states, we can characterize those now because they're states that we know are just going to be slightly under that 15-point margin, but Republicans are going to win regardless. This includes states like Kansas, Montana, Missouri, Indiana, South Carolina, Alaska, Nebraska's 1st district. Take a look at 2020 result if you want to know what I mean about that. But it's going to be likely.
I mean, you got
likely
Nebraska's
for
first, right?
the Republican Party. Nebraska's 1st, and Ohio and Florida. Now, this is where you start to see the map build out and Maine.
He couldn't even, he had to like think about it. He was like, am I going to put Florida lean? He was like, you know what? Nah, I'm not going to catch some flack in the comments. I'll just put it likely hard because, oh, whatever. Oh, man, this is hilarious. Yeah. Remember, he didn't even say the margin. He didn't even say what his Florida margin at all.
I don't know why I'm forgetting on that front. But this is where you start to see the map build out to a much more competitive lines. Democrats at 181, Republicans at 173. They win Ohio and Florida, 2 states that Democrats, in theory, would love to win, have won in the past, will not win this cycle no matter how hard they try. These states are going to be solid for the GOP.
Okay,
Republicans are going to win these states.
What about Iowa and Texas?
Alaska, I do think we might see a surprise out of that state. It's going to narrow up. Maine's 2nd district is going to be, I think, roughly on par with what it was in 2020. But overall here, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance at 173 electoral votes. Now, Democrats have their own end of likely states. Colorado, New Mexico.
Wait, hold on. There's no way. There's no way he didn't just not fill in Texas and Iowa. What is he doing? What is bro cooking right now?
Virginia, New Hampshire, Maine at large, Minnesota, and Nebraska's 2nd district are all what we consider to be likely Democratic states. So these are the states that Democrats can pretty much rely on to carry them closer to the 270 electoral vote number. But it isn't necessarily a state that is solid enough to be
Minnesota and New
solid,
Hampshire
right? These
weren't
states
even
could still, in
likely.
theory, flip to the GOP. They could arguably be a lot closer than what a state like California might be, which would narrow down from 27 to 25 if it's a bad situation for Democrats. And so Minnesota, Colorado, New Mexico, Virginia, and New Hampshire and Maine at large, and Nebraska 2nd, all districts and states the Democrats can rely on for this cycle. So now we get to the final states here. The final battleground states. Now, I'm going to get things out of the way in saying that Iowa is a state that I think because of that ancestry.
Are you kidding me? Oh, don't tell me. Do not tell me he's gonna say Ann Seltzer. Don't do it, please. Don't.
poll. I know I sound crazy. I do think it's going to be about Trump. Iowa is a state that I think because of that Ann Seltzer poll, I know I sound crazy. I do think
Oh my god, there's no way. Are you serious? Oh no, what is it?
it's going to be about Trump plus 4. I think
Guys, Trump, it was Trump plus 13. It was Trump plus 13, guys. This is actually crazy. He was off by like 9 points in Iowa. Dude, this is ridiculous, man. Oh my god.
given that we've seen a lot of
Wow.
surge in women registration across the state, combined with the fact, or enthusiasm rather,
insane.
but combined with the fact that the abortion ban that's in the state might actually localize a big reason why Kamala Harris is doing better in this state in comparison to some other battlegrounds, is that Iowa has a very restrictive 6-week abortion ban that many voters disagree with. And because so many Republicans in Congress, on the presidential level, or at least those advising on the presidential level and across the state have come out in support of this 6-week abortion ban, it arguably is seen as far too extreme by even some Republicans, and it's doing damage to the party's perception and how voters perceive candidates that align with it. And so Iowa right now is a lean Republican state, putting Republicans at 179. The next state I would consider to be a lean Republican state is going to be the state of Texas, which I've wavered back and forth between making it likely and making it lean. I don't think Allred will be outrunning Kamala Harris.
Bro, there is no way. He said I had to think about Iowa being lean R. He had to think about Iowa being lean R and likely R. Wow. He had to think about it. Dude, this is so funny, man. This is hilarious. This is the funniest thing ever. This is hilarious, guys.
By a massive amount to a point where they would share different characterizations. I think Texas is at a point where it's going to be lean Republican. Trump will probably win the state by 4 points, 4.5%.
It was Trump plus 14. It was literally Trump plus 14. He was off by 10 points in the state. Bro, he saw this and lost his brain. He probably saw this map and absolutely lost his mind. He must have been like, damn. Dude, he literally got it 10 points wrong. Oh my god. Let me change the colors just so like you can see how he's doing it based on the likely colors. But that's the colors. This is the real map, and this is his. This is the real map, and this is his map. Like, are you serious? Are you for real? This is crazy. This is so off. It's like not even close. He hasn't posted in like 3 weeks, by the way.
Improvement for Democrats, but not enough. Not enough yet to get them to the presidential victory in Texas. That does boost Donald Trump with its 40 electoral votes to 219.
Not enough yet,
Kamala
guys.
Harris' Tim Walz's 226.
Oh, wow.
So now it comes down to the final remaining 7 toss-up states: Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Arizona, North Carolina, and Georgia. Democrats are in a really tricky position because they have many pathways to 270, but it arguably means that Republicans do too. So to kick things off, we only have one state that I feel comfortable as of today characterizing as lean for either side of the aisle, and that is for the Democrats in the state of Michigan, which I would consider to be a lean.
Oh man, bro, this guy, man, this guy. It was a 1.5 point win for Trump, and he hasn't leaned. That means he was like bare minimum. He's like bare minimum, like 2.5 points off in the state. Bare minimum, because I don't think he specifies this. I don't think he specifies the margin, but bare minimum, he's off by like 2.5 points in the state. This is crazy.
In Democratic state. So now we're down to tilt states. States that are decided.
He hasn't even filled it. Oh man. He hasn't even filled in Arizona. Oh man, this guy, man. Wow. This guy, he hasn't even filled in Arizona. Guys, Arizona was a 5.5 point win for Trump, while all the other states were lean R. and tilt are in Wisconsin. This is ridiculous. Holy moly, this is ridiculous. Wow, this is insane.
By less than 1%. Kamala Harris wins the state by 0.0001. That's tilt. Wins it by 0.9. That's tilt. All it matters is that it's under a point and that it goes to a candidate. I don't like to leave toss-ups. I don't like to leave uncertainty in my election predictions because I think it's wrong. I think it misleads people who are looking to see a conclusive, definitive answer as to what I think we will see.
Oh, don't worry. When I get national attention and stuff, and I get to talk about other people in the space, you won't be getting any national attention. I mean, yeah, you'll be getting some, but people will be going to your comment section and laughing at you, and will be watching my videos instead.
In the election. Now I'm going to start messing around with the map here so you can get a better indication.
Guys, gonna mess around with it, guys.
Based on some of the numbers we're seeing out of Arizona, I do think that Donald Trump wins the state of Arizona by a very narrow amount. I think it's going to shift minimally from 2020.
Oh, yeah.
Democrats are really going to try to turn out the base there, though Republicans are going to do it too, and they're doing it well. Arizona is the state that's going to go to Donald Trump. That's the first flip of the evening from blue to red. Still, it's going to be interesting to watch. It might not. It may go. I don't know. As of right now, though, I do give Donald Trump the upper hand in the state of Arizona. So this puts him at 230 electoral votes. I think we've seen some bleeding amongst Latino voters, voters who care heavily about the southern border, where we have not seen Kamala Harris rebound and regain on that issue in a way that would be
contradicting himself, because if he believed that, then why is Texas lean R? This guy just has no idea how these states vote. He has no clue. No clue. He has no idea how these states vote. This is ridiculous, guys. This is actually hilarious. Oh, man.
He's substantive enough to say that it is a non-issue in Arizona. It absolutely is an issue, a very important one to many voters there as a border state. That makes a difference, and it shifts the state ultimately to Donald Trump.
Oh, man.
On the contrast, though, I think that Kamala Harris wins the state of Nevada by a tilt margin. I trust John Ralston. I also think looking at some of the early...
He brought up John Ralston. Oh, this guy, bro. This guy's cooked, man. This guy's cooked, bro. He put tilt blue in Nevada because of John Ralston. For you guys don't know, John Ralston's like a forecaster in Nevada. And he like always overestimates the Democrats by like 2 or 3 points. Like literally, if you get all his predictions and you look at every single prediction, just add 3 points to the Republican, and that's the result of the election. I'm not even kidding. You can literally do the math for every single prediction he gives. Whatever he says it is, add 3 points to it for the Republican, and that's the margin in the state. I'm being so serious. It's hilarious. And it happened again this year. Trump won it by 3.1. Oh, man.
Early voting numbers today. Democrats are doing really well in terms of that early voting number. Really well.
Really? Wow. They're behind by 44,000 votes in the early, but wow, they're doing so great. Guys, look at this. Look at how great the Republic. Look at how great the Democrats were doing in Nevada, man. Look at that map. They were doing so well. Look at that. Wow. Clark County +3 for Harris. Dude, they're knocking it out of the park. It's not like Biden won it by 9 or anything like that. Totally didn't win by 9 points. Oh, man. This is so funny, dude. This guy is hilarious. This guy is so funny. I can't wait to react to his election prediction videos in the future. This is so funny.
And so if that holds, Democrats actually might win by more than a tilt margin. But as of right now, I can see that, putting Kamala Harris ahead by roughly half a point, as John Ralston suggests.
Wow.
So Kamala Harris 247, Donald Trump 230.
Wow.
Now it comes down to these 4 states on this eastern side of the United States: Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. Now, I think based on the 2020 election result and some of the data points we're seeing out of North Carolina, Donald Trump holds a very narrow advantage, but I could see Kamala Harris actually winning this state. It's going to be...
Oh, yeah, I could see her. I could see her winning it. Like, this guy's... I understand it now. I could see it. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I wonder what vision he saw. Well, the North Carolina, for me, that was off the board for her. I didn't think she could win North Carolina at all. Not even close.
I think it's going to be closer than it was in 2020. I think Democrats have invested a lot more in the state than they did in 2020. Republicans have too, which shows signs that their internal numbers probably aren't as pretty as they seem externally. But North Carolina is still a Republican state, and I do think Donald Trump holds the narrow advantage at 246 electoral votes, with its 16 electoral votes in its column. But this is where things might get a bit more controversial. I think North Carolina will go red, but this is the big one. I think Georgia is going to go red. And I know you might be shocked, and I could be very well wrong. That is the way these things are. All of these predictions are less than a point, meaning they're well within the margin of error.
Wow.
I think Georgia today.
So he didn't think that lean Iowa are, lean Texas are. He didn't safe New Jersey. Those marks, they're so big. There's no way I can be wrong. But, oh man, this guy was worried about his till margins. Oh, dude, that was the least of his problems. this was the least of his problems. The tilt states, these were the least of his problems. He had way bigger problems to deal with.
I would call it blue very narrowly. These turnout numbers are looking very promising for Democrats. I do think we're at a point where Kamala Harris could narrowly get across the finish line, just like Biden did. Not in Arizona, but in Georgia right now. And it could be enough to give her the 16 electoral votes that are crucial in this battleground state. So, final two states. I love saying the word so, but I'll stop because you're probably getting annoyed. Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. Both of them, I think, will vote together with Michigan, but not share the same characterization in terms of margin, but will share the same victor. And that I do believe today, November 5th, 2024, in contrast with my prediction 2 weeks ago giving Donald Trump the victory, I think Kamala Harris wins the election. A combination of factors have led to states like Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and Michigan having increased enthusiasm on the Democratic side in this final week.
Oh,
Increased
man.
numbers on college
enthusiasm. All that early voting. Oh, man. The early voting, dude, look at the enthusiasm for Democrats. There's totally not like 1.1 million of them missing. Like, bro, are you serious? Like, you actually got to be kidding me. There's no way. This guy didn't pull up RCP once. He doesn't have his own model. He didn't pull up any of the accurate polling. Doesn't mention Rasmussen or Intel Alice or Richard the Bears, the People's Pundit, not one time in any of his videos. Not one time. Not once. Not a single time has he said anything. Not once. Not one time has he said something about them. Absolutely incredible. This is actually crazy.
People who are engaged and excited to turn out and vote. Higher return numbers from Democrats as we've gotten closer to the election, and more anticipation that Democrats will in fact be voting on election day in numbers that have not been seen before. Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Nevada. All states I think Kamala Harris will win by less than a point. I would not be shocked if Donald Trump won. But I think, hold me to it today, Kamala Harris wins them. On the flip side, Donald Trump, I think, wins North Carolina and Arizona. Same story. Because they're less than a point, I feel confident enough to say that I think they could go to Kamala Harris too. But Donald Trump holds the narrow advantage. Final map here being 292 to 246 feels very weird and very reminiscent of the 2020 election. Maybe just goes to show not much has actually changed since the last cycle. Pennsylvania's got
not much has changed, dude. This guy, man. This guy. What a piece of work.
Gotten closer. North Carolina has gotten closer. Georgia has gotten better for Democrats. Iowa's gotten worse for Republicans. It's an interesting map here because the top line number is worse than Biden's victory in 2020. But in a way is arguably more impressive for Kamala Harris given the circumstances and the cards she was dealt. So the final map here, a flip in Arizona. Nothing else changes, shockingly or not shockingly. Donald Trump at 246, Kamala Harris at 292. The Senate map, Republicans at 52, Democrats at 48. And the governor map, Republicans at 8.
This is his
Democrats
decent map, but it's because he's a hack. This is the only reason he had it like this. And in New Hampshire, Ayota or whatever her name is won by like 9 or 10 points, which is what I had her winning by. Yes, guys, in North Carolina, I said Mark Robinson was going to win. I said it, and I got it massively wrong because I thought the polling was going to be wrong. And I thought North Carolina was going to be Trump +8 instead of Trump +3. That's my bad take. But you see, I had one bad take. One horrible bad take. One. Not 20 of them like this guy had. Not 20 like this guy had. Insane. This is hilarious. Hilarious.
At 3. And so again, rounding out this video as I did in the beginning, make sure to check out ltelections.com.